A few years ago, when the biography of Elon Musk written by Walter Isaacson was released, it arrived as a massive 615-page chronicle of a life already legendary. I read it when it first came out, but at the time, I couldn't quite see how to distill it into something meaningful. It felt like a stream of headlines stretched across decades. Controversies, tweets, politics, fame, noise. But after spending more than 60 hours revisiting it, reading, rereading, annotating, I realized something important. Beneath the spectacle of the world's richest entrepreneur lies something far more valuable: a coherent, relentless set of principles about building companies, inventing technology, and shaping the future. So I did what Michelangelo once described when asked how he sculpted David: the first chipped away everything that wasn't essential. What remained was not gossip or drama, but a pattern. Repeated ideas, applied obsessively over 3 decades and across multiple companies. And once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. Wired for war long before rockets and electric cars, Elon Musk was a college student obsessed with strategy games, especially the board game Diplomacy. He didn't just play casually, he immersed himself for hours. It was how he relaxed, how he escaped stress, and more importantly, how he sharpened his tactical instincts. When asked why he loved such games, he once said, "I am wired for war." That mindset, competition as combat, business as battlefield, never left him, even in his early 20s. During internships, it was clear he was not built to work under others. He resisted hierarchy. He questioned authority. He didn't assume someone else knew better. That trait would define him, sometimes painfully, for the rest of his life. Hardcore from day one when he launched Zip2, his first company. There was no comfort. He and his brother slept in the office. They showered at the YMCA. Every waking hour belonged to the company. From the beginning, Musk rejected the idea of work-life balance. He worked relentlessly and expected the same from others. If you joined him, you joined the mission. Personal comfort was secondary. He also understood something subtle but powerful: presentation matters. When investors visited Zip2, they displayed a large server tower to project technical sophistication, even if the actual hardware inside was modest. It was a calculated demonstration, a lesson he would repeat. Dramatic displays move people. Showmanship is a form of persuasion. Money as fuel, not trophy. When Zip2 sold for $37 million, Musk walked away at 27 years old with $22 million. Most would have retired. He didn't. In interviews at the time, he made it clear the satisfaction wasn't in the money. It was in building something real. The capital was merely ammunition for the next battle. He reinvested nearly everything into new ventures. This pattern would repeat for decades. After selling PayPal, after selling Tesla stock, cash rarely sat idle. It was redeployed into the next problem worth solving. Mission first, business second. After PayPal, he didn't choose something safe. He chose rockets. He went to a public library in Palo Alto and began studying rocket engineering textbooks. He called experts, asking for old manuals. Like historical figures who devoured entire libraries to master their craft, Musk consumed knowledge obsessively. His goal: colonize Mars. Not because it was commercially obvious, but because he believed humanity needed to become multiplanetary. The business model would come later. This was a defining trait: start with a mission, then engineer the economics around it. First principles thinking brain when evaluating rocket costs. Musk created what he called the Idiot Index. He compared the price of raw materials, carbon fiber, aluminum, fuel, to the final cost of a rocket. The markup was astronomical. His conclusion: the system was inefficient. Costs weren't dictated by physics. They were dictated by habit. From that point forward, cost control became an obsession. He constantly compared aerospace components to auto industry pricing. If a bathroom latch cost $30, why was NASA paying $1,500? If a requirement existed, he demanded to know who specifically created it. Safety department was not an answer. He wanted a name. Every rule was a recommendation. Except the laws of physics. The algorithm. After surviving near collapse at Tesla and SpaceX, Musk formalized his thinking into what he called the algorithm. A 5-step production doctrine: question every requirement. Delete unnecessary parts or processes. Simplify and optimize what remains. Accelerate cycle time. Automate. Last. The order mattered. At Tesla, he had once automated too early and built a production line overloaded with robots that barely worked. His public admission was blunt: excessive automation was a mistake. Humans were underrated. He learned and updated the algorithm. Maniacal urgency stopwatch throughout the book. One phrase echoes like a drumbeat: a maniacal sense of urgency is our operating principle. Deadlines were aggressive, sometimes impossible. Rockets exploded. Production lines stalled. Tesla hovered at the edge of bankruptcy in 2008. Musk slept in factories, endured night terrors, vomited from stress, but he never withdrew. He treated himself as a frontline general, present on factory floors, under rockets, inside assembly lines. He made hundreds of decisions per day, knowing 20 would be wrong. Indecision, to him, was fatal. No limits, only physics. One of his deepest convictions is that limits are often imagined. If a rocket wall was 4.8 millimeters thick, he'd ask why not 4? If production needed buildings, why not tents in the parking lot? If regulations blocked progress, why not lobby to change them? When China required joint ventures for manufacturing, he pushed for policy change. Eventually, Tesla was allowed to build independently. If conventional thinking made the mission impossible, unconventional thinking became mandatory. The cost of greatness: there was a price. He admitted the extreme hours made relationships difficult. He treated personal life as a distraction. He was described as intense, unpredictable, like a bear, playful at times, but powerful and dangerous underneath. Executives left. Teams turned over. He welcomed fresh blood. Hunger mattered more than tenure. Yet one quiet wisdom stood out when he was ousted from PayPal. He didn't burn bridges. Years later, those same former colleagues invested in SpaceX and helped save it. Even warriors need alliances. The enduring pattern across Zip2, PayPal, SpaceX, Tesla, and beyond? The pattern is unmistakable: question assumptions. Obsess over cost. Delete relentlessly. Move faster than comfort allows. Stay close to the work. Tie everything to a mission larger than yourself. The spectacle, tweets, politics, headlines, can distract from this deeper architecture of thought. But once stripped down to essentials, the career becomes something else entirely: a long experiment in applying the same core principles again and again, across industries and decades. And perhaps that's the real lesson. Greatness is rarely accidental. It is repetition, disciplined, relentless, uncomfortable repetition, guided by conviction and executed with urgency.